Today we are going to learn how to go about the cutting and sewing of this beautiful bubu made with Mikado fabric and Asooke with a tassel design at the front. You're welcome back to my channel. This is for OR styling. If this looks like something you're interested in, kindly watch this video to the end. To make this bubu gown, you're going to need your Mikado fabric, about 2 yards depending on the size and the length. So I have this wine Mikado fabric. As you can see, it is a kind of fabric that is thick and it has a shining part on both sides. You also need a piece of Asooke, so you only need about 1 piece of it. So you can get, there are different types of Asooke, so you can get any one of your choice that matches or goes with the color of your Mikado. Then you also need a tassel, so you need about 6 pieces of tassel. So they sell this at the market, you can always get it. It's about 1,200 depending on your location. Now the first thing is to fold this Mikado fabric into 2, then you fold it into 2 again, making 4 pieces. So altogether you're going to have 4 layers for both the front and the back. So after folding this way, you're going to take the length like so. You know how wide the Mikado is going to be, so you're going to multiply your shoulder measurements by 2 plus your sleeve length. Okay, so here I have my shoulder measurement divided by 2 to be 7.5 inches. Then you are going to take your sleeve length. So for this one, the sleeve length is not long enough. I'm going to attach an Asooke to the hem, but if you have enough fabric, there's no need of attaching any other fabric. So at the end of your fabric, you go down by 1.5 inches for the shoulder slope. Then you come to this center part, you take your neck width and neck depth. I'm going to mark both the front and the back neckline together. So it is when I want to cut, I'll cut it separately. So for the back, it's going to be 3 inches by 1 inch. Okay, then you're going to connect it back like this. So I'm going to be cutting out the back first before I cut out the front. So this is what it's going to look like. Ideally, the wideness of this Mikado fabric should be your shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus your sleeve length. That is where you want the length of the sleeve to get to. Okay, so now we are going to be having this. Remember, we have a slit, so the slit, I don't want it to be too deep, so I'm going to be making it about 3.5 to 4 inches. Then I'm going to come in here by half an inch to open it up. Okay, so you're going to cut out on all of these lines that we have. So before that, now you're going to connect from the shoulder slope back to the neck width with a straight line. It's going to look slant, but it's going to be like this. You're going to connect it back like so. So you needed to connect the shoulder slope. Okay, do not forget to add half an inch sewing allowance at the top. Okay, and that's what I'm trying to mark here. So like I said earlier, I'm going to be attaching this Asooke to the hem as well to extend the sleeve a little bit. It is just like a design. You might decide not to add it to your own. So after this, you measure out the sleeve opening, and from that sleeve opening, you're going to go in by about 2 inches or 1 inch. Before you can connect it, you measure from your shoulder to your waistline, from your shoulder to your hip line. This is going to be like a guideline for you, because you need to take your hip circumference divided by 4 plus about 2 inches for ease allowance. Okay, so whatever I take on the hip is what I'm going to take on the waist, because this is like a free dress, you know. So whatever you have on your hip circumference measurement divided by 4, you had about 2 inches to it. Okay, or 2.5 inches or 3 inches. I'll mark the same thing on the waist, I'll mark the same thing on the bust area, then I'm going to connect it straight down. Note that you are going to be using the biggest measurement. So if the person happens to have a bigger bust, that means you're going to divide the bust divided by 4 plus your 3 inches is allowance. Then if it is the hip, you divide the hip, and so on like that. So after that, you just connect straight down from the armhole. Just create a bit of curve so that that part is going to relax. Then you connect straight down and you cut it out. After cutting it out, you're going to separate the fabric. You separate the front from the back, just like I'm doing. Then you're going to cut out the front neckline. Do not forget to leave half an inch stitching allowance. Then for this center line, you are going to open up the slit. You can open it up now, or you open it up when you want to turn it with a facing. So after this, you're going to be cutting a facing for both the front and the back, and you're going to turn the neckline. And as for the Asooke, you are going to determine on how wide or how big it is. So the way you're going to be cutting this, so Asooke usually come in strips like this, in case you, except if you can get Asooke that is not in strips like this. But if you cannot get it, you're going to be joining these ones together. We need to join this Asooke together so that we'll be able to cut out the circle that we needed. So to join this Asooke together, you're just going to place it on each other about 0.25 or 0.5 highest. Then you're going to stitch it down. You're not going to join it together like the way we join our regular piece of fabric. You're going to place it on each other and you're going to stitch it down. So guys, now I have joined it together and this is what it's going to look like. So you can now decide on how wide. If you want it wider, that means you're going to join another piece or another strap to the other side. You're going to measure and mark a square because you're going to be cutting out something like a circle. Then you can now decide, you can also decide on how wide you want it to be. It might be 5 by 5, 6 by 6, depending on the person's size will determine on how big this is going to be. So if you are making for a baby, it might not be as big as this. So I'm going to fold this into 4. Then I'm going to draw out the circle. So you can either cut it out the way we cut our full circle, or you just use your discretion. You might not want a full circle as your own shape. Okay, so I'm going to just draw it out like this, since I already have a square. So once I cut this out, it's going to look like a circle. And you can also fold it into 4 like this. Then you measure round. Okay, so I'm going to fold it into 4 so that I can have equal shape on both sides. Okay, so you can just decide on how you want it to be. So mine, I don't really want a full circle, so that's why I'm just giving it this shape. So if you want a full circle, you fold it to 4, measure out how you want it to be, and you get your full circle. You want to place the Asooke after finding a midpoint like this. So from the slit you have already, you can measure down to about 3 to 4 inches depending on how long your slit is and how close you want it to be, but it should not be too close or too far from the slit. So because Asooke frays a lot, so I have to secure the edge by weaving it. You can use a soldering iron to cut it out. You can also use a hot scissors just to secure the edge. So then you place it at the center. So you're going to measure whatever you have on one side, it should be the same thing as the other side. So the Asooke is going to be at the center of the front bodice. Then you're going to pin it round and you stitch it down. So once you are done with that, you place the back bodice on the front and you're going to stitch down the shoulder. But before that, you need to turn the neckline. So the facing you cut earlier, just like the way we cut our regular bodice, I'm going to cut the facing and turn the neckline. Guys, I'm done turning the neckline and here is what I have. Okay, I'm going, and I already stitched down the Asooke. So now I'm going to be placing the front. Now I'm going to place the back bodice on the front bodice like so. I'm going to stitch down the shoulder with 0.5 stitching allowance I added earlier. Do not forget to add your allowance. So guys, I'm done joining the shoulder and here is what it looks like. So after this, I'm going to attach the Asooke to the hem like this. I already cut a strip out. Okay, so I'm going to join it, place the right side on each other like this and stitch it down. Repeat the same process on the other side of the sleeve as well. Then after that, so once you join from the right side, you flip to the other side and top stitch. So after sewing, this is what it's going to look like. So what I'm going to do now is to join the sides starting from the Asooke. You're going to flip the fabric to the wrong side like so, and you're going to stitch down from the sleeve opening straight down. So I'm going to start from here. I'm going to stitch all through using ½ inch allowance, and you can also make it 1 inch. Do not use more than 1 inch. Then I'm also going to fold the hem. After joining the side, I'm going to fold the hem with my added allowance. After this, we're going to be fixing the tassel to the Asooke area. All the 6 tassels, we're going to be fixing it. So I'm going to be sharing a video on how to fix a tassel later. We're going to arrange the tassel just like this, the way you prefer, and you're going to stitch it all around. So you don't need more than 6. So once I'm done with this, now we're going to see what we're going to have at the end. So guys, this is what it looks like at the end of the day. After attaching your tassel, you give it a proper pressing. Make sure you iron it very well and you secure the facing. So guys, that'll be all for this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, share so that we can reach many people on this platform. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you're yet to do so. Until next time we meet again, bye bye and take care of yourself.